Hey, Regan, welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today, we're tackling leadership.
Ooh, leadership.
But, with a bit of a twist.
I like twists.
We're diving into Chase Greatness, a book by Rajeev Kapur.
Okay.
And it's all about what it takes to be a great leader in a world that just, never stops changing.
Yeah, always moving.
So we've got 7 key lessons to dig into. And trust me,
Okay.
this isn't your grandpa's leadership advice. This is for navigating serious disruption.
All right, I'm ready.
You ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Okay, so Kapur, he doesn't want us to, throw out all the old ideas about leadership.
Right.
But he's saying we need to look at them differently, through a new lens.
Yeah, I
A new
know.
scene that recognizes that work and the people doing it. Well, they've evolved.
Totally.
So much has changed, even in the past few years.
Especially in the past few years.
All right, so lesson 1 is adapt to evolving values.
Okay.
And Kapur makes it super clear that clinging to, those outdated leadership styles, it can really backfire, especially these days.
Big time.
So thinking about our listeners, what are some of those values they might be seeing pop up in their teams?
Things that maybe weren't as important before.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Kapur, he highlights a few really big ones, like work-life balance.
Right.
I mean, that's become, non-negotiable for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Especially, younger generations. It's not just about clocking in and out anymore.
Yeah.
It's about fitting work into your life in a way that, actually feels sustainable.
That makes a lot of sense.
And we're also seeing a much bigger focus on authenticity.
Oh, yeah?
People want to bring their whole selves to work,
Totally.
and feel like their own values match up with their company's values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, of course, diversity and inclusion, those are more important than ever.
It's not just lip service anymore.
No, not at all. Leaders have to actually build cultures where everyone feels seen and heard and respected.
All right, so that's adapt to evolving values.
Yeah.
So lesson 2 gets a little more, down to brass tacks. Fostering a culture of innovation.
Yeah.
I bet our listeners are thinking, okay, sure, but how?
Easier said than done, right?
Exactly. It can't just be about having a suggestion box.
No, it's got to be more than that.
So what does Kapur say?
Well, he talks about this idea of psychological safety.
Ooh, I like that.
Where people feel like they can take risks and share their ideas, even if they're a little out there.
And not be judged for it.
Exactly, without fear of judgment.
That's so important.
It is.
But I'm picturing our listener, thinking, okay, but how do I actually do that?
Yeah, how do you make that happen?
Right, are there any examples from the book? Any frameworks?
Yeah, Kapur gives some concrete tactics.
Okay, good.
One of the biggest is active listening.
Oh, that's huge.
Leaders who really listen to their team even when it's tough.
Yeah.
That creates a space where people feel heard.
And validated.
Right, validated.
Okay, what else?
Another one is giving feedback that's actually constructive, not just criticism.
So helping people grow.
Exactly. When people know they can get feedback that helps them improve, they're way more likely to take risks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then finally, celebrating experimentation.
Even failures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even failures. When you create a culture where it's okay to try things and, mess up sometimes.
And learn from it.
Yes, learn from it. You open up so much potential for innovation.
I love that.
It's powerful.
Celebrating the flops alongside the wins.
Right.
Okay, so we've covered adapting to evolving values, fostering a culture of innovation. Now, lesson 3, prioritize emotional intelligence.
Ooh, interesting.
I gotta admit, when I first saw this one,
Yeah.
I thought it was a little,
Touchy-feely.
a little too soft. But the way Kapur explains it,
Yeah,
it's actually super relevant to today's world.
totally.
It's not about being all,
Sentimental. It's about understanding your own emotions and how they affect other people.
especially as a leader.
Yeah, when you're in that position of leadership,
It's high pressure.
definitely.
So give us an example.
Like a real-world scenario.
Yeah, how could this actually play out?
Okay, imagine a team.
Oh.
They're facing a huge setback. Maybe a project failed. Deadlines are coming up fast and everyone's stressed.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Right. Now, a leader who's not so great with emotional intelligence, they might just, explode, blame everyone else.
Or shut down completely. Not helpful.
Not at all. But a leader with high emotional intelligence, they would acknowledge everyone's frustration,
Okay.
make people feel heard,
Mm-hmm.
and then, calmly guide the team towards a solution.
So it's about responding thoughtfully instead of just reacting.
Exactly. That's the key difference.
Okay. Lesson 4, embrace transparency and accountability.
All right.
This one seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, at first glance.
But I bet Kapur has some nuance here.
Oh, definitely.
So it's not just about being an open book.
No, it's deeper than that.
It's about clear communication and make sure everyone's on the same page.
Right. Exactly.
When people feel like they're in the loop, they're more likely to own their work.
And be accountable.
But isn't there a risk of oversharing?
That's a good point.
Like, what if people get scared to make mistakes because everything's out in the open?
Yeah, is that a possibility?
What does Kapur say about that?
Well, he addresses that directly.
Okay, good.
He says, transparency without accountability can actually lead to chaos
Right.
and distrust. The key is to create a culture where mistakes are seen as learning opportunities.
I love that. Not something to be punished.
So safe to make mistakes.
Yes, and learn from them.
But within a framework of accountability.
Exactly. You need both.
That's really interesting.
It is.
You know, this all ties back to what we were saying about evolving values.
Right.
That psychological safety is crucial for innovation, for accountability, for everything.
Okay. Lesson 5 is lead with purpose.
Okay.
This feels so connected to those evolving values we were talking about.
It makes sense, right?
Totally.
Kapur argues that these days, purpose isn't just, a nice bonus.
It's a must-have.
It's essential. Especially for people just starting their careers. They want to work for organizations that are making a difference in the world.
So beyond just profit.
Exactly. Doing something meaningful.
Okay, but how do you actually define and communicate that purpose?
In a way that feels genuine.
Right, it can't just be empty words.
No, it's got to be real.
How do you make it real?
It starts with looking inward.
Okay.
What are your organization's core values? What kind of positive impact do you want to have?
That's a great place to start.
Right. Once you have that figured out, then you weave that purpose into everything you do.
Like from your mission statement to your daily choices.
Yes, and making sure every single person on the team understands how their work contributes to the bigger picture.
I love that.
It's about connecting the dots.
Totally. Okay, that leads us to lesson 6. Invest in continuous learning.
Always learning.
Which seems obvious, right?
In a world that's always changing.
But Kapur doesn't just say the leader needs to stay up to date.
Right.
He says it's about the whole team learning.
Yeah, everyone learning together.
So I'm picturing our listener going, okay, but how do I ditch the boring corporate trainings?
I know, right?
Like, how do I make learning fun and engaging?
There's so many cool ways to do that.
Okay, tell me.
Well, think about things like book clubs.
Ooh, fun.
Where everyone reads and talks about an industry-related book together.
That's a good idea.
Or having guest speakers come in to share their expertise.
Love that.
Or even just setting aside time for people to explore new ideas and share what they're learning.
I like that a lot.
It's about making learning a part of your culture.
Okay, last lesson, lesson 7. Empower others to lead.
All right, I'm ready.
This is the opposite of that old school top-down style.
Yeah, command and control.
Kapur says great leaders don't just give orders.
Right.
They create other leaders.
By empowering them.
Exactly. It's about trust, delegating, and giving people the freedom to make decisions.
And take initiative.
But how do you make sure that doesn't turn into chaos?
It's the balance, right?
It can't be a free-for-all.
No, you still need structure.
So what's the secret sauce?
It's about setting clear expectations, providing support and resources, and creating a culture where people feel safe taking risks because they know they'll be supported even if they mess up.
Okay, so to sum it all up, Chase Greatness gives us 7 powerful lessons.
7, wow.
Adapt to evolving values, foster a culture of innovation, prioritize emotional intelligence, embrace transparency and accountability.
Okay, keep going.
Lead with purpose, invest in continuous learning, and empower others to lead.
You did it. That's a lot.
It is a lot, but it's all connected, right?
Totally. They all work together to create this framework for leadership that's not just about surviving change, but thriving in it.
So it's not just about keeping your head above water.
No, it's about riding the wave.
I like that analogy.
Me too.
So if these lessons are about leading in a world of constant disruption, makes me wonder what disruptions our listeners are facing right now.
Yeah, what are those challenges?
And how can they use these principles to navigate them?
That's a good question.
It is something to think about as you move forward.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Chase Greatness.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.
Bye, everyone.